Oh, hello everyone, and by that I mean no one. Happy Thursday, everybody. This is the this is the gift we give to our Patreon people. And by the way, Bobby, we've gotten another two patrons in the last week, so we're moving up. I'm not
Bang
gonna sit here
bang.
and lie and say we have big numbers, but we are moving up. We're almost at 20. That's not bad. It's getting close. So I don't know who Ernie Banks is. I hope it is actually the Ernie Banks, the guy who died years ago and was a Hall of Fame baseball player. That'd be awesome. But thank you, Ernie Banks, for joining and then switching your membership to a higher one to give us more money. I appreciate you, Ernie Banks, and all you do. So, how is your Thursday morning, sir?
It's pretty good. It feels kind of like two-a-days. Second week of two-a-days. The Thursday of it where you're like, my feet hurt. I'm tired. I I don't
No.
know if this is a heart attack or heartburn. But I'm here and I'm excited. Like I would be at two-a-days to hit somebody. I mean, to podcast.
Yeah. So, for those who don't know, two a days is not when you jerk off twice a day, like a lot of you do. It's a sports thing, and it means that you had practice twice in a day.
Two-a-days would be cutting back for me.
Oh boy. What's the most you ever? I hate that question. I don't want to go far on this, but what's the most you ever think you did in a day? We don't need to go into detail, but like,
If you're able to keep track, you're not playing in my league.
oh, why are you? Why is it always in a league and a game with you? Like, it doesn't need to be a
That's life,
sport.
man. Everything is
Stop.
there's winners and losers
There's winners and losers and jerking off.
in life.
I don't. If there's a loser in jerking off, I think there's winners and losers, but I think it's the same person. I think while you're doing it, you feel like a winner, and the second it's done, you're like loser. You know, so I think it's the same winner and loser. You know what I mean? That feeling of what did I just do? What am I? Why do
You
I
know the best.
exist? Why did I
Yeah.
waste all my time just doing that to myself? I'm just in a room alone. Like, what am I doing? What am I
Is
doing?
there, the best way to get rid of that feeling? Just jerking
Jerk
off
off.
right again. Just go
Yeah,
right
I'm
back
right
in.
again.
Is there anything worse than when you finish nutting and you accidentally click on the next video? And you're like, well, I guess I'm back in.
It's, well, for me, I'm older, so it's like you ever do that, and you have to like you're flipping through your photos for your Polaroids, and then by mistake you go to the family section. You're like, damn it! It's like,
Oh, that's the
well,
opposite. That's not what you want.
it's like I guess I'm thinking about Aunt Glenda now. It's like,
Oh,
great.
fucking Glenda. All right.
The,
Let me see
the,
them
word-
titties.
the, yeah, I probably should have used a not real aunt's name. Sorry,
I was
sorry,
gonna
Aunt
say, I think
Glenda.
I've met Glenda.
You have not met Glenda. No one's met Glenda. Glenda's the one that I used to try to tell a joke about that she took a Q-tip and put it in her ear, and then she answered the phone. She fucking whacked it into her dumb ear, and then she like punctured her eardrum, and now she's half Helen Keller.
Just the right side.
Yes. Well, everything's the right side, but there's no wrong side in Helen Keller. I saw a movie last night, and we can do a fun movie review if you want before we do a thing.
Yeah,
Have you
let's get it.
seen Have you seen Godzilla versus King Kong: The New Empire?
Is that the good one or the bad one?
What do you? This is the new one. This one
So,
just is out in
but
theaters right now.
didn't two come out at the same time and everybody was hyped about like Godzilla Zero or something and nobody was
Well,
hyped
that
about
was a
this one?
couple
Or was
years
it?
ago.
Okay.
There was two that came out. That one and then the Godzilla versus King Kong. But the Godzilla versus King Kong had a decent, not like a huge acting cast, but they did have like one or two people they thought could draw people. So like they had like the girl from Stranger Things, like 11, whatever, Millie Bobby Brown, like she was in it. So they knew like, oh, maybe eyes will be on it. And then they had like one of the Scars guards, but I think it was Alexander and not Bill. But you know what I mean? Like it was still like somewhat of a name thing. So this sequel, that's the same people except they didn't get Alexander Skarsgård and Millie Bobby Brown because they didn't need them. They had the other actors, which is fine, the unknown names who knew their roles, but they didn't need it because if this movie is a little over 2 hours long, an hour and 20 minutes, or at least hour and a half, is just insane video game footage basically of just monsters fighting the entire time. There is some acting, but you're literally just sitting in a theater watching monsters and not okay. So it's like I didn't watch the first one. I did know a little of it. I think I saw something.
I actually saw the first one. Millie Bobby Brown just keeps telling Godzilla to eat the cake, bitch.
Oh no. I didn't see that part of it. I must have
Eat
missed
the
that
damn
one part.
cake.
So the the movie, if I had to, it starts off right away with like, boom, you're right in Hollow Earth, because I guess that's where King Kong lives now. So in this world, he lives in Hollow Earth, and Hollow Earth has like a bunch of prehistoric monsters and shit. And then King Kong went down there because I guess it wasn't safe for him to live on regular Earth, so he went down there because he can't be near Godzilla. You know what I mean? Godzilla is alive and doing stuff, and he likes to fuck with the Titans of monsters and stuff. But he lives up on the surface. They can't go near each other because if they do, then Godzilla wants to fuck him up, and then that can't happen. So Godzilla lives on Earth, and just where Godzilla sleeps in the Colosseum in Italy. That's his cat bed now. He just lays in that. So in that world, Italians are like, "Oh, get the fuck out of my Colosseum!" But like, too bad, Godzilla just lives there the whole time. So they show right away he's down there and he's in Hollow Earth, and there's like these weird, like, kind of like wild boar, but also dinosaur things that are like chasing him. It's on the Earth is crackling around, no one knows why, but he just grabs one and like a minute in, picks it up over his head and just splits it in half, and green goo from these things pour on his body. And now he's like, ew. And now King Kong's like, I'm gross. And he goes and takes like a bath. And I'm like, what am I watching? Why is King Kong having a sexy bath scene? What is the start of this? And then they go up to Earth and they're like, this little Indian girl who can't speak. Not Indian like from India, like Native American, but she's not. They have some tribe name, like she's the last of her fucking people. Because I guess she in the first one was living on Skull Island and no one else was there. So a white lady adopted her, as they do. And then because she also had a connection to King Kong, she can like talk to him through sign language. And by the way, so this movie, to fast forward to it, this girl has to be part of all this because she's the only one who can communicate with King Kong, but he communicates with sign language. He communicates with sign language with her. And which is weird is the mother is a scientist. And my girlfriend pointed this out. She's like, well, why can't the mom just do it? Because the mom knows sign language. Like she literally does sign language to her daughter, and her daughter does it to King Kong. So why does she have to bring her daughter to hollow goddamn Earth? She could literally just be like, "Rrr," and then King Kong would know. Like, but that would be like you would cut out an hour of the movie, I guess, if you went into like, real facts.
I mean, the movie seems pretty realistic to me when they have the giant gorilla and the giant lizard.
Well, there's so much more.
Each other.
I
do think they made a good choice having the lizard sleep in the Colosseum because the Italians would not be happy if there was a King Kong just invading their territory.
No, I thought about that. I'm like, if a giant dark creature was sleeping in the Colosseum, Italians would be more mad. I think that would be
Mamma mia!
He says, it's a Shaquille O'Neal. He first steal a Papa John, now he steal a Coliseum. Shaquille O'Neal, get out of my Coliseum. So it's like, by the way, they don't fight. They're like kind of friends, but they're like brothers who they'll fight with each other. But if anyone else tries to fight them, it's on. And that's kind of their relationship now, and they're friends. So King Kong falls into another like hole in Hollow Earth that becomes like a subterranean realm that no one ever knew of. That's underneath Hollow Earth. And in that one, that's where the fucking Indian people are. And that's also where another whole tribe of King Kongs are there. And there's one guy who's got super long arms and he's like the king. And he's enslaved this Titan kind of Godzilla, but not really because he stole his thing. So he can ride him around. So now you're watching like an ape ride a dinosaur who's been enslaved. And by the way, they have chains. And they have slavery with the other apes, but they don't have any businesses or any reason to do slavery. Like they're watching, at one point they're being beaten, the other King Kongs, by lifting up rocks, and if they drop it, they get killed. But there's no job for that. Like there's no reason to lift the rock. Like they're not doing anything with this labor. They're just enslaved and then yelled at when they do it wrong, which seems kind of crazy. But at the very beginning, when King Kong first meets up with this other thing, the Scarface King, they call him. He's got a crew. He's got two other guys that have got like red paint. I don't know where they got war paint, but they got it on, and they're King Kongs. And there's a little baby King Kong. That's the thing. But baby King Kong isn't cute. I'm not kidding. His face, and I'm not being racist. I swear to God, if you see it, they made his face look like Morgan Freeman. If you look at it once, it's a regular little brown monkey, but his face is fucking Morgan Freeman's face. It's insane. And by the way, when little baby King Kong stands next to Giant King Kong, you do feel like it's a Dwayne the Rock Johnson and Kevin Hart movie, like because they're kind of stand there, they have a funny rapport, and you're like, this is kind of racist. I shouldn't think this, but it is. So when King Kong starts fighting off these bad guys, they jump him, and the little guy is like with the bad guys, but you can tell he's with them because they beat him up and stuff, and everyone's mean, so he has to help them. So at one point, that little guy tries to help beat up King Kong, but King Kong picks up the little guy by his feet and then just starts beating the other people with the little guy, which is a crazy thing to see in a movie when your edibles just kick in. You're like, oh, and then like the part where I knew they kicked in, the little guy starts running away, and King Kong just picks up a rock and then launches it like a football, like 50 yards, and it just hits the little guy in the head. Like there was only 4 of us in the theater, but we were all laughing our ass off. It was like the funniest fuck. Like it was crazy if this is in that movie. But there's a thing where Godzilla knows he's gonna have to fight something because there's something underneath that's bothering the dragon people. I don't know, the Indian people. So he has to go around and beat up other titans to get their radiation because I guess he has like cancer or something, so he has to get like radiation therapy. And every time he gets more radiation, his color changes. Now he has a pink mohawk, but he also can fuck things up more. And then at one point they team up as boys and they go underneath. It's a long fucking crazy thing, but it's just the fight scenes are crazy. At one point there's a part of Hollow Earth where there's no gravity anymore. So then now they can just fly in the air and fight each other, which is fucking weirder too. And then once in a while they go into sinkholes and they start fighting on regular Earth because there's these wacky like portals. So they're all fighting all these monsters. All of a sudden they're just in Rio de Janeiro. And you know that statue of Rio de Janeiro where like it's the Jesus guys like this?
Mm-hmm. The El Christos. Yeah.
Yeah, that's Jesus, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's El Christos. And he's like, I was hoping he came to life and started fighting the people, but he didn't. But they knocked him down. They're fighting. They a lot of people in Brazil, and then they also go through another hole in Egypt. And they kill everybody. They didn't kill. No Americans were harmed in this, but like a lot of people died in these fights. But like then, like near the end, all the good guys get together and they beat up all the bad guys. I don't know what the plot was or what was happening, but it was like great. The fight scenes were insane. It was nuts. And then at the very end, this girl who finds her like tribe, the mother is like, who adopted her, is like, hey, I know you're going to stay here. You want to stay here? And she's like signing like, no, I don't. We're together. She's like, no. You want to be with your people. And I was hoping that she'd be like, no, bitch, they don't have TV down here. Like, she didn't do that. Like, I like wiping my ass. Why would I want to live under the earth? This is stupid. But then she just got back with it. But they also, one thing they did was there's this one guy whose character is he wears wacky Hawaiian shirts. And he's also like, he knows about technology, but also he's a veterinarian, but only to monsters. Like King Kong at one point has a toothache at the beginning. And he comes up to the earth. And he's like, my tooth hurts. He can't talk. He's like, argh. So they have to like sedate him. I'm not even kidding. This is not me making shit up. And then like, so this guy flies in. They play like rock music. He's like, yeah. They played a lot of like rock. It was like random rock songs that didn't need like. At one point, this guy's flying around a helicopter and it's playing "Kisses I Was Made for Loving You." Like, but what? He's flying around. Like, I don't know why that song was on. There was crazy fucking songs on there. There was when they went down to Hollow Earth, they played the Twilight Zone song. They're like, oh, it was great. But he did the thing where he pulled his tooth out and he gave him a big metal tooth, like that one that could bite through anything. So then when he saw the other King Kongs later, they didn't even meet. They never known this King Kong. They saw him and they all pointed and laughed at his tooth. Like they shamed him. Like, why would that be a thing in King Kong? Like, ha, your tooth is dumb. But this guy, every time he would come in a scene, he would be like fun and cool. I will give you time out. And they would play rock music with him.
Just how do they like, are you describing their interaction? Like, how do you know what they were doing? Is it a lot of miming?
What do you mean?
Like you said, you saw the other King Kongs laughing at his sore tooth.
Yeah. Oh, they go.
So it's a lot.
They're literally laughing, and then they're pointing, and they're like, ha ha, and they point at his tooth. So later on in the movie, and his tooth comes flying out, and then King Kong goes, ha ha, like so. Oh, it was foreshadowing. So you can be mean to him. Like, yeah, it's all like miming. It's like watching deaf people have fun. You know how they can't talk, but you're like, oh, look, they're gonna do on a seesaw. Because you can tell one goes, it's like, and then they do that. They kind of make noise. It was like that. It was a lot of that. most of it was you just kind of loosely interpreting what the fuck was going on. It does feel like a movie where like someone said, "Hey, we need ideas for the Godzilla King Kong movie," and they had 12 people in a room, and each one of them sent in a plot, and the guy goes, "Yeah, we'll do all of these at once at the same." It was like 12 different movies. It could have been a Godzilla versus one other monster separate movie, King Kong versus this other crew another movie, Indian deaf girl going to find her family. You could have had 8 movies out of this, but they're like, "Nope, here you go, 2 hours of just whatever the fuck it is." But it's visually cool as shit. It was a good time. If you want to see a good movie, this is terrible. If you want to see a bad movie and laugh, it's one of the greatest. I almost want to go watch the other one, but I know I'll be mad because I'm sure that one, because it has Millie Bobby Brown, has a bit of a plot. I don't want plot. I want whatever the fuck this was. Oh, there's also a black guy who joins them because he's like a podcaster about Godzilla in the realm, in the Hollow Earth, and no one believes him. So he gets in somehow with military footage. So going down there was a Scottish guy who looks like Jack Black, who's the only one who can fly their like crazy spaceship helicopter that goes down the Hollow Earth. But he dies right away, and they still can fly the thing. So like there was no purpose in this man being there. Like right away, the other people can just fly it. They mourned this guy for like a second. And then it's like a wacky, cool guy who used to date this girl but doesn't date her anymore. But now he's kind of like MacGyver, but he's also like Zen. It's like they tried to make like Tom Selleck and Matthew McConaughey become a veterinarian for monsters. It was a weird combination of people. And then there's the black podcasting guy, a deaf Indian girl, and then a white woman with a short haircut. Like that was your main cast of who you're supposed to connect with and root for.
I like that when they were pitching all the movies, they even worked in the dude who was like, "What if we had King Kong do Maury? You think people would get the joke there? We have a little King Kong, and they all decide who's the
Yeah.
father." And he was like, "You know what, Tim? I think we can work that in after right before the ripping off the hair, turning pink, fucking radiation shit."
No, I can't. I couldn't tell. I mean, obviously we don't know, male or females in the King Kong thing, but like the way they pushed this, all the King Kongs that were like alive in this other place, they were all men. They had man facial qualities. Some of them were like gray hair. In the spots where a man would have gray hair, and then there was a little baby Kong. I don't know where the Kongs come from because there's no woman to have the Kong sex with, so it's just a ton of Kongs. Like, are we supposed to believe that like Godzilla at one point was he just created? Like, I think they said. I think there is a thing about it was a regular thing. I don't know the real backstory of Godzilla, but he was like a regular thing, and then it got radiation, possibly. But with all these other monsters and things that are down there, like all these crazy like pterodactyl things that can shoot lasers and all that stuff, are they all like at one point being intimate with each other, making sweet love, and having babies and a family, and then also evil?
It's true. I think that's the whole point of Godzilla, is it not? Like, are you born? Is it nature or nurture? Is this creature born out of being bred by two monsters fucking, or is it made that way by humans?
Oh, so like Godzilla really is like you asking yourself if you believe in evolution or creation type deal?
Well, yeah, and you know where Godzilla really originally came from.
Japan.
Yeah, because they all drank so much. And then they'd wake up the next
Oh,
morning and their wife would
hero!
be like, "What happened here?" And they, "Oh no, Godzilla came!" And they're like,
That'd be the best
"Sure."
every time. It's like, did you get drunk with your friends and do karate in the house and trash it? No, it was Godzilla. Godzilla came and stepped on village. It's like, why is it
Me
your shoe,
drinking very
princess? You wear my
dishonorable.
shoe. Godzilla, wear my shoe sometime.
Godzilla.
Oh,
What was
wait, you're a
the
woman. Stop talking to me. Oh.
who was the dude from the original one where he's like in New York? I want to say it was Ferris Bueller.
Well, that's not the original one.
The
The
original one I
original ones
saw.
are from like the 40s and 50s. Yeah, yeah. I remember seeing Godzilla. It was called Godzilla 1984. Guess what year that came out? 1984. But I saw that in a movie there with my dad. And that one wasn't that good. I don't think Godzilla movies have ever been good. You know
No,
what I mean? Like,
no,
I
no,
know,
no.
but they won't stop. There's certain things they won't stop making. You know what I mean? Like Godzilla movies, they just can't stop. There's about 5 or 6 things that are a story from a long time ago that they're just like, we can't stop fucking Snow White. We can't stop telling this fucking story. a lot of the Disney ones when they bought onto it. I know it's Disney doing it, but like some people are like, this story is so fucking good. It's like, it's not that fucking. Monster movies are fine and all, but like we've gotten better with monsters. They don't have to all be giant. Sometimes they're scarier when you can't see them from like 5 miles away. You know what I mean? Just having a giant. If I heard a footstep right now of a monster, there'd be no me go outside and look at it. I would cry or possibly kill myself. Like, there's no scenario where you think you're gonna live through a monster who can sleep in the the Roman Colosseum. He's too big. He'll just kill us all. He's got radiation. There's no way we all don't die from his body having all that radiation and coming out. It does that. Like most things when people have a radioactive monster, like even when Hulk had that, he had that shit. But at least he was like kind of bigger than people, but he wasn't like so fucking big that like you felt it like in another state.
Yeah, Blue Oyster Cult never had to write a song about the Hulk because he was so big.
I don't know if they were allowed to. To be fair, I guess Godzilla's like free license. You can just sing about him. I guess Godzilla and Perry Mason are both a free license, which I was shocked that like Ozzy Osbourne could sing a song about Perry Mason because that was just a TV show on TBS. You know what I mean? Like it's weird that he could sing about that.
You would think somebody would have
someone's
the
the
rights
rights,
to it. I was thinking of Matthew Broderick, by the way. Do you remember the Godzilla he starred in, where he
Well, you
has to
said
get
Ferris
the taxi?
Bueller, yeah, so I knew, yeah.
Where
Oh,
he
you were
gets
right.
the taxi and then he kills the woman, and everybody forgets about it because he made a decent movie.
Yeah, well, yes, I remember that. But also in that movie, that's the one where Puff Daddy did the remake of that Led Zeppelin song.
Yes, sir. And then he fucked
And
Godzilla. That was the
and
real King Kong versus Godzilla.
in the big song, and that was David Bowie's Heroes. But I think the Wallflowers did the cover of that too in that song. I think it was them doing the Heroes song. We can be heroes. And then you're playing that as Godzilla's like, I'm gonna ruin you just for one day. And Ferris Bueller's like, Dankeschön, like not today. And they step on his head and they kill Ferris Bueller.
I remember I was young enough. You may have been a little bit older, but like Godzilla was the TV show reference. Like, oh, I'm gonna go watch this Godzilla movie. So I remember begging my dad. He showed me that one, and we looked at each other when it ended, and just were like, I don't think I like Godzilla movies. My dad looked back and was like, I don't think I like Godzilla movies either, Bob. We're done. We're done with these.
I didn't think I liked Godzilla movies until I watched the Godzilla movie in a movie theater with just my girlfriend and then two other random people that way in front of us in a theater at 5 o'clock at matinee prices. That's the greatest thing ever. Godzilla in a movie theater in the right environment, or also when you leave and it's still like nice out, I can handle that.
I could too. I also think you saw a good Godzilla where it didn't try to be a good movie. It leaned into what it was. Like it knew what it was.
They actually doubled down on being bad. Yeah, like you could tell they were like, "This is gonna be bad." So let's just go. Let's not care about plot or worry about any little. Because what I think that what works in that when you start going in that kind of movie, and you know people are going to question certain things. You're like, well, how can this person do this? Don't they need to do this and this? You're like, then it ruins the luster of just like the fiction. So when you just do so many problems in your movie where it's like, you can't be like, if someone goes, well, how can King Kong, have like chains on these people? Like, why would they build chains? You're like, wait, that can't be your one problem. How about the 80 other things that make no sense? You know what I mean? Like you said, no one lives in Hollow Earth, and you said that at the beginning, they're like, it's been untouched by people. But at the same time, there was a station down there where, oh, by the way, King Kong also gets a robot arm. I forgot that part. King Kong's arm gets frostbit, so then they give him a robot arm.
Of course we knew that. Yeah, of course he gets a robot arm.
I didn't know you knew. I didn't know you knew that. It's like he gets a robot arm, and they fly it over to him, and they put it on him. And then he's like, he loves it. He's like, fucking robot punch. So he has that. But like, even when you're like, wait, how is this technology down here? The guy who died, but you'll find out. So there's so many questions. You're like, all right, stop asking questions. Just enjoy the ride. And once you enjoy the ride and stop asking yourself questions of how this can happen, it's a fun flick.
Which is the second time Godzilla is a metaphor for life. If you just stop asking yourself questions and just sit back and enjoy the ride, it's going to be a better time.
I felt the same way about Schindler's List. You know what I mean? It's like, and so many questions. Like, really? Why would he keep a list? Then you're like, all right, stop. And then you just fucking watch the movie.
Like, way too many.
That's the last thing you want to document. Way too many. That's the last thing you want to document. You should be thinking about what could happen. Like, they might make a fun movie out of it or something.
They all just jumped on the train. Nobody
Yeah,
was
it's just
complaining.
yeah, like what? And by the way, they built a train and tracks just to kill Jews. Like that makes no sense economically at all because no one's buying a ticket for the train. How are you making money at this train? You
which is
literally have a
why it,
train just to kill Jews.
which is why it's doubly offensive to the Jewish people.
Yeah, they're like, yes, not only are you killing us, but you're not making money. Ah, like that's more insulting than killing my
Just
family.
just kill us here for Muhammad for Christ's sake. Oh no.
This isn't fiscally responsible. What are you doing? All right, let's. So I hope everyone likes my Godzilla review. Let's go.
I
You
did.
like cringy things?
I do. However, have been having a hard time with cringy things on Instagram. A couple of the accounts I've followed have started posting quote cringe, but the comments turn. They're all on the side of the dude involved.
Oh, you mean like so when it's supposed to be the guy's supposed to be cringy like that? They're all like, nah, this guy's fine, like that kind of shit.
Yeah, or like that's just black autism. Stop being a bully.
Oh no, black autism. Wait, they have their own autism?
Oh yeah. You
What?
set up your story and I'll try to find the example. Give me a second.
Okay. Well, this story isn't that kind of cringe. This is just a cringe moment. Are you familiar with the works of Anne Hathaway, the actress?
I am. A lot of her works.
Right.
Princess Bride. Princess Diaries. Never mind.
I was gonna say she definitely wasn't in the Princess Bride. Like that was Sean Penn's wife. Whatever, right Penn. But no. But Anne Hathaway, I guess the other day was on the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, and so Anne Hathaway's Tonight Show interview takes cringy turn after audience reacts in silence to her question. So basically, what happened was, bless you. Basically, what happened was Anne Hathaway was hanging on the Tonight Show and promoting something, and she had a film she was promoting. But while she's on there, they were talking about something, and she mentioned, she goes, "Oh, has anybody here read my book?" She looked out to the audience, and not a peep. No one said anything. No one's, not even one person, like, yeah, not even the fake clap, like, "Oh, you have a book." You know what I mean? Like, "Oh, that's great." So nothing. And then instead of just going with that and going, haha, she when silence filled the room, she goes, "Oh, we don't read here. This is the Tonight Show. I guess we don't read. Maybe we have to go to Stephen Colbert if you want to get people to read books." Lame. So she just takes shots at the audience there, and then Fallon trying to be like, save it because he's always like, "I gotta make sure I kiss ass so they all love me so I can stay in the Illuminati," or whatever. He's like, "We do Audible here," and then she appeared embarrassed as she covered her face while laughing and taking a moment to compose herself. And she recovered quickly, adding, "What's a book?" And everyone's like, "What? Why would you not? You wrote a book." And then, so, and then someone, now that went viral, that whole thing of the silence and the weirdness, and her going from like, "You're dumb," to going, "Oh, I don't know what books are. I'm dumb and lady." People on Twitter were like, "This is seriously so funny. I can't stop thinking about it." Anna's fighting for her life up there. And isn't handling like a pro. But it doesn't feel like she's handling like a pro. I mean, it's like, that's basically the gist of the story. But who's the piece of shit? Is it Anne Hathaway for like, okay, you're not there to promote your book. You already make tons of money. It's, first of all, fuck you and your side hustle. You know what I mean? Like, you've made monster hits. You're doing well. Your family got you into acting. It's not like you ever struggled from anything. You've been doing well your whole life. You get to go on the biggest shows ever to promote shit. And when you're there, you're like, "Oh, by the way, someone read my book." And to sit, like, listen, I wrote a book. I don't ever go anywhere and go, "Obviously, everyone here's read my book, so I'm just going to out loud say, 'Oh, you guys all familiar with my works, right?'" They're like, "Fuck off. Like, no one cares about your works. The fuck out. Who gives a shit?" So when she says that, the audience just, that's that part where it's like, they all think that because they're famous, that everyone knows everything about them. So they're so shocked. And they're so used to people just pandering them that when our audience literally took the question literally, which is the first time ever. Even in comedy shows, when you're like, "Anyone have Netflix?" You see people like this, and then you like find out later, they're like, "I don't have Netflix. I was just trying to help." Like, I'll do that when someone's like, "Anyone ever play with Smurfs?" And I'll be like, "Woo!" And then the other guys like, "Why did you yell?" I'm like, "I don't know. It sounded like you need help. I was just trying to fucking help out." So this audience is like, "We're not helping shit." And then right away to call them lame and say you don't read, it's like, you want them to watch your movie. Like, if you were there to be a stand-up, if Bill Burr said that, okay, you're a comic selling your humor, you're making fun of them, you'll do better. But if you're Anne Hathaway, and you're like, please see my dopey movie. It's like, I don't want to see your movie if you told me I can't read. And then Steven and Jimmy Fallon's got to be like, why the fuck mention Colbert? Like, I get that you want to make fun of the audience, but you can just say NPR. Don't name other nighttime talk shows, because then you're kind of like, oh, the smarter audience. And Fallon's like, I know my audience is retarded, but still, we don't have to tell them. Most of Fallon's clips are him just singing a song, kind of, with the Roots guy, Questlove, playing drums, and then like Ariana Grande or somebody throwing a ball into a cup. I don't know what the fuck the show is anymore, but like, they're not a reading group. But at the same time, you don't gotta shit on them. Is it Jimmy Fallon for like making a quip and shitting on himself more? It's like, I would be like, you know what? We do read. Yeah. How do you think they knew that Anne Hathaway would be on the show? They went on their TV, saw that it's the Tonight Show. And they can read shit, bitch. They also read how to get tickets here. They can't do it. No one's going to the nighttime talk shows anymore. But people went to this fucking thing. Is it them? Is it the audience for not fucking giving a fuck? Like, should they have been like, that you went to watch a Tonight Show? You know how boring and lame that is? The comics can't really be themselves. The band can't play whatever. You have to have, you're told when to laugh and when not to laugh and all that shit. So I guess they should have had a sign that said "say yes" or something. I don't know. But like, is it the audience for just going, fuck it, we're not gonna fucking do our job as an audience to respond at all? Because they could have at least gone, no. That would have been better than like nothing.
Tell us about it.
In the story?
Oh, this is easy. The piece of shit's Jimmy Fallon.
Okay.
You used to be a comedian. We
that.
had somebody on here once who showed you the slightest disrespect. I don't mean it in like it wasn't a big thing, but like the slightest amount of confirmed I'm being intentionally disrespectful to you. And you threw that trans looking bitch out of here faster than I could count to 30.
I do recall that.
Yeah, I knew I had to give you a hint of who it was. Like, and you did so in a funny way. You were, bitch, does my audience read? Do you read? Have you seen the movies you've in? You should read the fucking scripts sometimes. Oh, I'm the king of Wakanda. All right, we get it. You stole the plot of Black Panther. Like, he should have torn into this frumpy bitch. Hey, why don't you and Robert De Niro go make a movie that makes Bobby cry a bunch, but turns out it's just a shitty movie, and anybody who recommends it to makes fun of him because of it. Something along those lines.
I don't know. What happened? What's that? What movie is that?
The Intern.
Oh, I never saw that. I heard it was good, though.
It's one of those where if you're in a weird place in your life, it'll hit you in a weird way. But if you're living life well, you're gonna be like, why did Bobby care about this movie?
I like the Robert De Niro. By the way, quick side note: Robert De Niro, as he gets older, just puts himself in movies where the whole thing is he bangs younger people. Like, he's that bad grandpa where he just gets, I guess, to have sex with Aubrey Plaza. Like, what is this movie? Like, that's my role. Like, okay.
Written and produced by Bobby De Niro.
Yeah, why isn't he canceled? Why isn't when he gets older, he's like, you know how young women want to bang me? Like, no, they don't. I think they want to bang the money and they want to bang the fame, but they don't want old, wrinkly Robert De Niro.
Aubrey Plaza might.
Maybe. That's her whole character thing, but whatever. She goes on shows. She went on Jimmy Fallon and talked about how hot he was. She lied on there. Why can't this lady lie? You know what I mean? Like, lie in there. But like, and by the way, to bring up the part you said before about when I threw someone off the show, at least with that person told us later they were just kind of trying to be funny and it didn't work. Anne Hathaway just shit on herself and ran away. She didn't at least own it or whatever and go like, oh, that was a dumb joke by me. If you want to hear more dumb jokes, read my book. Like, that would have been funny.
It feels like, she was one line away from that bailout save of, all right, I'm an idiot here. I like that.
And instead they said she was strong and powerful by like covering her face and going, oh no, what did I do? It's like, really? This is devastating you? Because you're going to go yell at your help leader.
What would Kaufman have done?
Andy Kaufman, first of all, would have then... are we talking about Kaufman back then or if Kaufman existed now? Because then Kaufman probably would have somehow already had like an Audible book ready for them that would have been like weird. You know what I mean? Like, something like that.
Or he would have brought his book.
I brought it in Braille, and he just hands it out to people.
No, he stands there and he's like, I'm reading in Braille aloud. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Right, yeah.
I
Can't
know
see this, can't
Godzilla.
see that. Yeah, or he's hitting the buttons and he's like, "Turn the page." What's a page? I've never seen a page. I don't know what a page is. Do words make sense when you're blind? I don't know. It's like the whole thing.
Who am I,
going down
Bob
this rabbit
Seger?
hole.
Turn pages.
No's never said that. Anyone but Bob Seger. Who am I, Bob Seger? Or possibly if you're younger, Metallica. Yeah, with their terrible cover of Turn the Page. It's like, yeah, I think the piece of shit is definitely also Jimmy Fallon. That definitely should have been a moment where he was just like, hey, we let you be on the show. Have a stand a little bit. I don't understand they're kissing the ass. I don't know why they have to kiss the ass. Hey, I appreciate being on the show, but don't insult them. You can insult me. Don't insult them. And then you make awkward for a second and go, so anyway, tell us more about the movie. And you move on. That'd be, I would kind of respect him right there. Like, she didn't need to do that. It was I know she was, and if she wants to be a real person for a moment, she could go, my bad. I was embarrassed. No one read my book. You know, that kind of hurt. So it's like, my bad, audience. So you know what, everybody, or maybe I would be like, if I had fuck you money, oh, no one's read my book. I go, oh, good. Hey, Jimmy, you guys have cards, all their information. Everyone's getting a free book. I'd like you to check it out. She has that kind of money. They give it up. You're like, holy shit, she gave away free movie. Yeah, Oprah. Oh, look under your thing. You get a book, and you get a book, and you get a copy of Les Miserables. Like, you get whatever you need there. You get that. What was that movie where she was in a gang and then she got she wanted to be in a gang as a white woman, and then that Bijou Phillips girl just got banged by 8 Puerto Ricans, and she got banged by 1, but she was sadder. Remember that? Was it called Havoc?
I don't remember.
It was something like that. You don't know that? That was like an early one where she was trying to be like, she got out of the Princess They got me doing it. Princess Diaries thing, and she was like trying to be sexy. So they put her in a movie where she was like some white girl who was going to like the hood, and she wanted to like, they wanted to be like hood gangsters, and they joined like this Latino hood gang. And the way to join it is you roll dice, and whatever number of dice you get is a number of people that bang you in a room. And like, so that the Bijou Phillips girl like wanted to go along with it because she wanted to be cool until she got banged by like 5 Puerto Ricans. She's like, no, and then it's a weird ass movie.
I don't like that.
No one likes that. That's the worst. That's the worst. I'd rather watch King Kong than that. That's an awful thing to put in a movie. Like, that makes me sad every time. If I see gangs, I think about it. Makes me sad. I see motels, I get sad. Like, you get sad about that intern movie. I get sad about poor Bijou Phillips had enough problems with her family being like from Wilson Phillips, and then their family being from whatever. This young girl was like, I'm just trying to make my own. They're like, oh, you want to get banged in a motel by Puerto Ricans that look kind of like, Danny Trejo, but younger? It's like, no. Well, that's your role in this movie. Because Anne Hathaway doesn't want to do it, so you're the side piece that gets the side piece.
I remember that I think Kumia talked about that once, where it's like the guy intentionally rolled one so he got to be with Anne alone, and then the other, not a good time. Do you think Anne could have saved if she came out and was like, I wrote a book about my time getting married. I was the Princess Diaries, now I'm a bride. It's called The Princess Bride.
Yeah.
And then every time Jimmy went to correct her, she just kept going, my name is not Anne Hathaway. My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
And then one about when she got older and her bladder didn't work, and it was The Princess and the Pea. But they spelled it differently. Like, nice. Yeah, see?
And then they had in that. They had him and Wemby hanging out, and they had the Princess and the Frog next.
Oh, poor Wemby. Why did he get that? Of all the French, why is he your top French?
Because he's literally the tallest Frenchman.
Yeah, he is. You know what my go-to French is? It's not Jerry Lewis. It was when I was younger. It's Gérard Depardieu. Because it's just fun to say Gérard Depardieu. Remember he was in that movie with that Katherine Heigl, who like grew up to be like a bitch, but she was like 15. They're like, how about you want to know if you want to go, which movies did Weinstein make? The one where a 15-year-old girl was supposed to be so hot that like people thought the only way she could hang out with that old man is she was banging him. It couldn't be her dad. So like, and everyone's like, oh, we want to fuck your daughter. He's like, oh no, do not fuck my daughter. I just want to protect the pussy. That's what I do. I was around the Badu. It's like, all right, go into la bibliothèque and protect yourself. You ever see that movie? It's called like Green Card or something. I don't think it's called that.
No, I don't think I have. I don't think I've seen that movie. I've seen some porns that may have been recreations of it.
Oh, so many. It's called like what the fuck's it called?
Uh,
Gerard
Gerard
Depardieu.
Depardieu, he was the one they brought over and tried to force into being a star, and it just never happened, right? And now he owns
Never
like some
happened.
cafe
Never
out
fucking
in
happened.
like Oklahoma.
Yeah, he is a fat piece of shit. Now he oh no. Wait a minute. I didn't mean to do this, but I'm clicking on it. We have breaking Gerard Depardieu news. Actor Gerard Depardieu to face criminal trial over alleged sexual assault in France.
Seems accurate.
Holy shit. French actor
Or
Gerard
like
Depardieu.
Depart don't.
Gerard Depardieu you in the butt. Gerard Depardieu will face a criminal trial. Dude, I will never not laugh at the joke when someone says the word do in something and you make it don't. Like didgeridoo, Gerard Depardieu will always make me laugh every time. I don't know why. When you can add the don't to something
Oh
stupid.
yeah. It's one of my favorite
It's the
punches
greatest.
of all. Yeah.
Yeah. Will face criminal trial in October over the alleged sexual assault in 2021 of two women on the set of a film. The 75-year-old actor, who previously has denied any wrongdoing, was detained for questioning by police in Paris for several hours earlier Monday. His lawyer, Christian Saint Paris, later declined to comment to reporters other than to say that the actor was no longer in custody. The Paris public prosecutor's office said in a statement that the actor had been summoned to appear before the criminal court. But that was in quotes. A trial will start in October for sexual assaults likely to have been committed in September 2021 against two victims on the set of the film The Green Shutters. I don't know. Any movie that has shutters in it, don't watch it and don't be in it. Because behind the shutters is never like fun. You know what I mean? It's never like, oh, look, it's grandma making cookies. It's always like, I'm diddling you. Like, close the shutters. First of all,
Green
no one has
shutters,
shutters anymore. Who the
green
fuck is
shutters,
shutters?
red sheets.
Shutters is a dumb word.
What's the other word for it?
Shutters?
Mm-hmm.
Well, those shutters are the ones that are outside, right?
Yeah.
That's like the wooden thing that then closes over.
Yeah.
And is it called that because, like, what do those do? Like, well, you shut them. Well, what do you
You
call those? Shutters?
Yeah, that's
You
literally
shut them. What are you,
it,
retarded?
that's literally where it came from. Like during a storm, you would shut the heavy wooden things to protect your glass windows.
Oh, it suggests here that the reason why that Depardieu got released and they think he has a good chance is because Harvey Weinstein's 2020 rape conviction overturned in New York. So he thinks maybe I got a chance.
He's like, hey, the richest man in the world got away with it. Maybe I should try my luck.
But he might be the richest man in France. He might be killing it in France. We don't know. French newspaper La Parisien has reported that a 53-year-old movie decorator had alleged that Depardieu grabbed her and kneaded her waist like it's like bread. He grabbed her, like, you like that? And then he goes, oh, you like it when I knead your belly? Oh, let me touch your belly. Kneaded her waist, stomach, and breast during filming of Les Volets Verts, or The Green Shutters, according to a woman's lawyer, Karine Duroux, when she filed the complaint to the Paris prosecutor's office in February. In an open letter last October, Depardieu said, I have never, ever abused a woman. Depardieu had also been accused of more than a dozen other women of harassing, groping, or sexually assaulting them. He was handed preliminary rape and sexual assault charge in 2020 following allegations from actor Charlotte Arnould. In that case, the investigating judge completed his probe on April 17th and transferred the file to the Paris Public Prosecutor's Office to review and determine next steps in the proceeding. Depardieu was long seen as a national icon in France. He has been a global ambassador for French film and enjoyed international fame with several roles in Hollywood. I'm going with this because I'm hoping they're going to tell me the name of that movie. The latest episode involving Depardieu came as French cinema is rolled into a Me Too awakening following actor Judith Godrich calling for France's film industry to face the truth on sexual violence and physical abuse. She made the appeal during a live broadcast in February of the César Awards, France's version of the Oscars. Well, fuck you for having your own version. That's
And
gay.
fuck you for using the Italian name, you fucking cheese-eating surrender frogs.
Jesus. By the way, the hashtags for this story are Hollywood, rape, Gerard Depardieu, sexual assault in France. Who's hitting those hashtags? Who's like, then you know what I search for? These things.
That's literally what crosses my mind. When you say France, read the hashtags in that order.
Yeah, but like, okay, I can see looking up Hollywood as a hashtag. If you're looking up rape as a hashtag, go to jail, like right now. Like, why are you looking up rape as a hashtag?
I'm not going to jail.
No.
I'm with you.
Oh no, I'm not saying you do it. I didn't mean you. I meant like everybody you. But
I thought you were waiting for me to get up and go to jail.
What was the name of the movie? I think it's called like "You Want to Fuck My Daughter." It's something like that.
Let's find out.
I mean, it obviously couldn't be. I'm here. I'm looking. My Father the Hero. That's what it's called.
It turns out, according to our lie detector, results say that was a lie.
It's a lie. But right before that, he was in a movie called The Green Card with Julia Roberts. That's where I got confused with the Green Card movie. And then he did the Man in the Iron Mask.
They're polluting, but what am I going to do with all these titties? And they're like, you could be a lawyer even though you didn't pass the bar. You got big tits.
Well, I don't know that movie, but I would guess she's American and he's not, obviously, because he's Gerard Depardieu. So am I supposed to believe that Gerard Depardieu married a woman to stay in the country and he just happened to be Julia Roberts and this ugly French shithead is like, oh, marry me. I am fun and charming. You want me in your home? Ah.
He was their secret financier behind their fighting for clean water.
Oh, yeah. The Pelican Brief. I remember that big lawsuit.
No. What was that? What was that movie? Aaron Brockovich.
No, that was Aaron Brockovich. I know. I was being a dick.
I fucking hated that movie. That might be why I hate Julia Roberts.
Do you hate Aaron Brockovich the person, or do you hate Julia Roberts playing Aaron Brockovich?
Both. Like, I don't know if, like, you just talked about Depardieu raping a woman and all that stuff. Like,
I'm eating your belly with my little piece.
Worst time to hang out with. She just reminded me of every single mom in my hometown who went to the local community college and was then like, no, I'm a lawyer now because my kid needs it.
Oh, I need it. Get it? K-N-E-A-D. I need it with my little fingers. And then he was also in The Man in the Iron Mask with, like, I think that had Anthony Hopkins and Leonardo DiCaprio and Gerard Depardieu. But then after that, he wasn't making many other American movies. He was in a black movie with Queen Latifah called The Last Holiday in 2006. That might be one I gotta watch sometime. Queen Latifah and Gerard Depardieu.
That, I believe, I could be mistaken, was the black fat woman answer to Adam Sandler's Funny People, where they try to take like a funny movie and make it serious. Like, she's dying, but they still try to have laughs in there.
Oh, I was about to comment right, but no, Ernie Banks, this is live. Yeah, we're doing this live right now on the show. So this is part of your thanks for joining the Patreon the other day. And he just commented, is this live? Yeah, we're live right now, buddy. There you go. So
would you like to see Sonic, all the characters?
Sonic from Sonic the movie?
What we were talking about earlier.
Oh, these guys. I thought you meant like Sonic, like the Hedgehog in his movies. Because he has a guy named Knuckles.
So that's the actual dude's account, but then there's an account called Cringe where it goes, oh no, cringe. But in the comments of that video, everybody jumped in and was like, fuck you, this isn't cringe. My man just got autism. And then a bunch of black people were like, yeah, man, black autism in the 90s was wild. And then my favorite comment might be, if you ever get the chance, ask a black autistic dude about Sonic. So I didn't realize Sonic was an icon for the autism community, but I guess it makes sense. He runs like they do.
He runs like they do, Gerard Depardieu. But so who's the piece of shit in that story? Is it? I don't even know where. Are we still on Anne Hathaway?
No, we did that one. I think we're on the Depardieu right now.
I know, but okay, is it Gerard Depardieu? Is it the women that would Gerard Depardieu? Is it France for not going, hey, You're our hero. Let it go. They did that with most other French. Like Jerry Lewis was a terrible man, and he wasn't even French. They just loved him. But like they've always let people go in France, going, "Oh, just have some wine and cheese," and then whatever. Like, listen, they're number one. The greatest the greatest French actor in America ever is Pepe Le Pew, and that's who we know as the person that was always like sexual. Like even they were always saying to you, "Oh, it's okay, I'm French. I will try to fuck you." And you're like, "Well, that's not even one of your
How this
species.
works?
That's a
Yeah.
cat." He's like, "I don't care. You dress up like." I think the French were the first ones in that cartoon. Were telling us they're the first ones that would bang trans people. They're like, "You kind of look something like a woman." So here I come. Look at me.
Well,
So
that
it's
does.
not Gerard Depardieu's fault. He was just been raised to fuck.
Yeah, and that does reinforce everything I thought about French people my whole life.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of French people. Like I only knew a couple, and I guess they were nice enough, but like it's just the rep. But I'm sure they don't like us either because we're always calling them like cowards, and then people call them frog. Why are they called frogs? Because they jump around, or they eat
I don't know.
legs.
I
Is it
think
because they
it's
like
just
frog legs?
they just sit there and go ribbit as Hitler invades their country.
I don't think they riveted when that happened.
Did I tell you about
But
my grandfather when he tried to visit France?
no.
He landed, right, and went to customs, and they were like, "Yo, where's your passport?" He was like, "I didn't need one the last time I came." They're like, "Come on, man. I know you're old, but you always need a passport to visit France." And he's like, "No, no one made me show it to him the last time they were here." And they're like, "Sir, in order to answer or in order to enter France, you have to show your passport every time." And he's like, "Well, when I landed on the beaches of goddamn Normandy to save your
Oh
ass, I
my
kept looking
god,
around for a French to show my passport to, but none of them could be found. They were all fucking hiding." That's an old
that's
street
fun.
joke, but I love that joke.
Oh, I thought that was real nice. But the French, the French nobility, so the higher up French, would call the people that lived around Paris the Parisians. What?
The French nobility. Like there are noble people in France.
Yeah, I know. That's what it says here. They would visit how's it pronounced? Versailles or Versailles?
Versailles.
Versailles.
It's actually Versailles,
Apparently,
believe it or not. Yeah.
okay. Apparently tended to refer to Parisians as frogs because of their swampy surroundings.
That's hilarious.
And only later did the term get picked up to describe the French in general. Because it did just mean one type of French, and they're like, nope, that's all of you. Fuck off.
Do you know what happened at Versailles?
No. I know I've
The
heard that something happened in Versailles, but I don't know.
the
Is that
the
where Versace's
Jacks.
from?
Nah, maybe. The Jacques overthrew the country. That's how gay of a
The
country
Jacques?
they are. Yeah, the
All people named
Revolutionary
Jack?
Party. Yeah.
Oh, it is me, Jacques. Jacques
Yep.
Cousteau. Remember that guy? I'm underwater now. Look at me. Bubbles. Oh, these fish. Like
Yeah.
that. If you're French with the accent, you're allowed to do more shit. Because if I'm like, I'm going underwater, you're like, we don't give a fuck. Have fun. And if he's like, oh, look at me. I'm in a submarine. Like, even years later, Wes Anderson will make a movie loosely based on you.
And if you're an actress and a fat 75-year-old Frenchman starts kneading your stomach like bread, just get
Yeah.
the fuck away from him. You can
Yeah.
absolutely get away from him. Weinstein, a little more mobile, a little younger. You know what I mean? He could box you off from that door. You hit Depardieu with one spin move, he's gonna be head, ass over tin cans.
Right. Oh, and also, Bobby, I don't want to be culturally inappropriate. It wouldn't be bread. It'd be a croissant. I'm kneading your belly like a croissant. Would you like a beef Wellington? would you like meat covered in sauce that ruins the meat?
Like a
That's what
sweaty
we do.
escargot.
Would you like pungent cheese? Like, no, I don't want pungent cheese, you fucking goofball. Why would I want that? Fuck you, French. Fuck Gerard Depardieu. Gerard
Every year
Depardieu
at
is a piece of shit
basketball.
in every story.
Yeah, I would agree he's a piece of shit, but also the women and France. Like your whole country's getting stabbed by muzzies. Maybe we focus on Depardieu second.
Okay, Bobby. So now we have your choice of Britney stories. Which Britney story do you want? And it is the two Britneys you're thinking of. And I know you. So which Britney story do you want?
We did 2 WNBA stories yesterday. Do you think
This doesn't really cover basketball, though, if you're thinking of that person.
so? I was actually going to say, I think we'll probably do whichever story we don't do today tomorrow, correct?
Possibly.
Then I would say let's do the other Britney.
Okay, so you want
Save
Britney Spears.
our fans. We've kind of become the #1 WNBA podcast. Like I don't want to overstep our bounds, but as far as the reporting we do, I think we covered the WNBA more than anyone, including the WNBA. So let's
Right,
keep
which
that
is
alive.
kind of probably why we should do this. I was thinking maybe this kind of story on this, so it's not every time we're public to everyone. We're just doing WNBA stories. But let me just I'll do the headlines to both, then you tell me, okay?
Yeah, that works.
One of them is Britney Griner reveals she thought about killing herself while she was jailed in Russia. And then the other one, yeah, it's for some reason I gotta figure
Britney
that part out.
Spears
But I
thought
guess
about killing herself while jailed by her father.
no, Britney Spears and
We're
Sam
ending the story on a high
Asghari.
note.
Britney Spears and Sam Asghari finalized divorce, and most people didn't even know they were going for divorce. And all of a sudden, boom, divorce. So she got divorced from her latest husband, or the other one. By the way, for some reason, I guess in the page, I gotta figure that out. I guess I gotta look at the Patreon thing. But like, I thought the comments were supposed to show up here in the comment, but somebody's commenting under. I think because they're commenting under that. If they do it, if you click on the YouTube part, and you can then you can see
Do it
in
there,
the
yeah.
comment. But someone's trying to comment, but I'll try to read the things that I can. He's just shitting on the French, and I'm trying to get into that. But
Hell yeah.
so hold on, let me just get him.
Which of those two would you prefer, Pat? I'm gonna let you take the lead. Both of those sound fantastic.
Right. The French fitting to WNBA discussion. That kind of makes sense. He is right that if you're going from the French, you go to the WNBA because they're both like weaker versions of better things.
That makes perfect sense to me. We fought the French every year at basketball camp.
Let's see. Wait, why were the French there?
It was a team camp, and they would send a team for every level, but they would also have like their 20-year-olds play on the varsity group. So like they were supposed to be better than us, but you know, they had a girl point guard, and somebody had to throw her in the wall and go, "Welcome to the big league, you fucking cunt." And I
boy.
was happy to be that man.
You know what? I think as we have fuck. You know what? And Bobby, I'm not gonna say much more than this. I think because of our guest tomorrow, we should do the Britney Griner story today.
Good call.
Yeah.
Good call.
I think sometimes, right? I'll save this one for tomorrow. I will go with it because that'd be crazy if all our stories was like that theme. Like, welcome to the show. Anyway, by the way, for those who watched yesterday's show, the Wednesday show, we talked about a guy who was in a comedy contest and all this drama and stuff. He's going to be on the show tomorrow, so it'll be fun to listen to a guy who won a contest and then caught shit from haters. And I think people need to hear about how fucking if you think like. High school people were fickle and things like that. There's nothing more fickle and more fucking bitter and fucking shit talk than fucking local comics when someone does okay. Like, I think people need to really like hear this shit. So it'll be fun to have Andrew Pollack on tomorrow. So this story here, Britney Griner reveals she thought about killing herself while she was jailed in Russia. WNBA star Britney Griner said she thought about killing herself. After her drug-related charges, Griner spoke for the first time about her months-long. They made months long one word. Is that one word? Months long?
No, I think that's definitely at least three.
So, right? Yeah. Yeah, at least. Detention in Russia during an hour-long interview that aired Wednesday night on ABC. I'm shocked that people are still talking to her. Like, isn't that over? I don't give a fuck about her anymore. Do you? I know it was in Russia,
the
but if
Isaiah
you just,
Thomas.
and I don't mean to be like, closed-minded or rude here, but like, if it wasn't in Russia and it was just, if it was just black basketball player went to jail, everyone's like, next. You know what I mean? Like, you just went to a different jail, but they all go to jail.
Yeah, I think part of why it was such a big story is there was a lot of, did this actually happen around it? Like, even after the trade happened, there was a lot of like, she's giving the parroted line she's supposed to.
Okay. But it's the same thing as when, let's say I go to the hood and let's say I really just heard that they have really good food. I went on Hood Maps and I found out they have this taco place that I wanted to check out and it's sketchy. But then there's reports that a white guy's down there trying to buy drugs. And they're like, and I'm like, I was just getting tacos. And they're like, we don't care. It seems like that you're doing this. I should have never been in the fucking hood in the first place. Because if I go to the hood, then people are gonna think that something sketchy's going on. Either I'm a cop or I'm doing something. A giant black lady should. I don't care if they're like paying her money to play in the NBA over there in basketball. You shouldn't be in Russia, giant black lady. They're gonna keep you because they don't know what you are. Because you're scared. You're like they're afraid you're gonna sleep in the Kremlin and not in the fucking Coliseum like the fucking Italians.
She was gonna join the China League because that's the second biggest women's paying league, but they had to separate King Kong and Godzilla.
Well, they also can't. They also can't say Britney Griner. That would be an impossible word for them to say. Britney Griner. Like, what do you say? Britney Griner.
You know what we saying.
Oh, you know what Britney Griner. Fuck it. That's Diana Taurasi. It's easier. But Griner's photo, her memoir "Coming Home" is set to be released on May 7th. It's a book or is it released? It's the movie. I wonder if she said to the audience, "Anyone here read my book?" And they're like, "No." She goes,
She's like, "We're making a movie. Making a fucking
movie." Griner was detained after arriving at a Moscow airport in Russia. We all know the story. Her cut luggage revealed that vape cartridges allegedly containing oil derived from cannabis. I wanted to take my life more than once in the first weeks. I felt like leaving here so badly. Like, and I understand, like, maybe you feel trapped. I don't know. I'm not trying to, like, question what she thought or whatever. But for her to think she wants to kill herself, that sounds like something you say so people would read about it more in your book, more than an actual thought that you had. You might think, oh my God, am I ever going to get out of here? But I don't think she was like, I want to die and kill myself. I don't know. I think if you think you're going to be a star basketball player, and you're a woman, and you're not Caitlin Clark with all the hype, and you're going to be, like rich and famous someday, you have delusion. So I think that same delusion would make you think if anyone can escape here, or if America wants to trade for anybody, it'd be me, Britney Griner, super important person.
Also, there was always a potential of her getting out.
Right.
Like, I think if you were faced with life with no parole, there'd be a better chance you were feeling suicidal than Biden. That said, if they were like, hey, don't worry, Biden's going to get you out of here, and then you saw him shit himself in front of the Pope, I'd probably be suicidal too.
I don't know if I'd be suicidal. Ever. I would just be like, even then, I'd be like, the Pope's got me. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I would just think, I'm going to be able to do cool interviews on ABC a year later afterwards.
Yeah, that's true. I would last a day in Russian prison because I'd be quoting a day in the life of Ivan Denisovich the entire time.
By the way, Ernie Banks, and I appreciate you being the commenter. You appreciate the open misogyny. We're not being misogynistic in this. You know what I mean? We cover, like we said, we cover the WNBA more than anybody. And I've talked about how I think Caitlin Clark is going to change everything and she's great. I just think that, it's true. Women's basketball doesn't have a draw that a woman in that, and people made that joke when it was happening. If this was LeBron James, he would have been out in a day. You know what I mean? Shit, if it was Chris Bosh, he would have been out in a day because the importance is bigger.
If it was Draymond Green, he'd be out in a day, but because he fought his way out. And that's what Griner really should have done. Like, if you really wanted to be the one who made a profit off of getting locked up in Russia, you have to escape from the work camp. Like, if all of a sudden, one day, just in Ukraine, you just see, 6'7" giant black bitch with her hands in the air, like, hey, I'm Britney Griner. And they go, no, you aren't. Here's a hoop. And she dunks it, and they're like, oh my God, it is Britney. Like, that's a story we can all get behind.
Oh,
She should have been MASH. Dude, we should reboot MASH with Britney Griner in Russia.
I don't think anyone wants a reboot of MASH. MASH didn't have...
Not MASH, no. The one, Hogan's Hero.
Yeah, they didn't have Hogan's Hero. I was going to say, like, they had some medical stuff.
Gargoyles.
Oh, and by the way, Ernie Banks wants us to say it's happy birthday, Terry Nee. So, happy birthday, Terry. But, okay, take Britney Griner out. If this was Oprah, if this was Lizzo, if this was, trying to think, if it was Michelle Obama, it wouldn't even be there. It wouldn't matter. Like, they'd be nuts. But like saying, it's not about women. It's about the right woman. I think it's more about her being a lesbian NBA basketball player than being a female. I think it's just like, and she also was like, didn't she also like not respect? She didn't. She was one that like wouldn't stand there for the national anthem. She wasn't really like pushing America the whole time of her life when she was over here.
She wasn't. However, she is very much now. She
Well,
says,
of course she is now.
but that's kind of the point. Like, and I think people missed that. And I'm not saying you did, but like everybody was like, "Oh, we shouldn't get her. She doesn't appreciate what she had. Like, she was anti-America." But now she's learned her lesson. She came back and was like, "You know what? You guys were right. This is the best country in the world. I apologize." She is standing for the national anthem, and has said she won't play basketball overseas unless she's wearing the red, white, and blue. Like,
Why
I
forgive her
think
for that?
it's not even forgiveness. It's just like it's cool to see somebody who's willing to let life experiences change their innate beliefs. Like, she had this set of beliefs that America sucked, and then she got thrown in Russian prison, and now she's kind of like, you know what, America's not that bad. I kind of like she's willing to admit that and be like, guys, I fucked up. It's not that bad here.
All right, so okay, let's flip that the other way. Britney Griner is dating a guy. She's not a lesbian, whatever. And the whole time, even though the relationship's good and the guy's good and he's caring, whatever, and their schedules are tough. They can't be together all the time because she's traveling around doing her WNBA stuff. He's doing whatever job he has. So she thinks every time they're not together, he's cheating. And she's like, I promise you, I'm not cheating. She's like, nah, you're a cheater. I don't care. Cheater, pumpkin eater. I don't care. I know we're dating, but I don't give a fuck. And then one day she gets kidnapped. And then this guy goes and saves her. It says, I fought like Liam Neeson and Taken. I battled everybody. I fought through all the Gerard Depardieu's. I had to fight Draymond Green for some reason. I got through all this shit, and I got you, and I saved you. And she goes, yeah, you've always loved me. I now think because you saved me that you're not a cheater anymore. And you're like, bitch, you should have just believed me in the fucking first place. Why did I have to do all that shit, Doubting Thomas? Why did I have to fucking do? Why did all this have to happen for you to learn a life lesson, you moron? Fucking, it's pretty easy to learn a life lesson. Just live life and stop being ignorant. Yeah, you know it's better. Because if it wasn't, many people would have left it. When people want to flee America, no one goes, hey, Russia sounds dope. They only go there when they're like Snowden or somebody. Like when they really have to hide and piss people off. You only go to Russia when you're like, fuck it, everything else is done. You go to Canada or Mexico, or I don't know, go back to Africa. Wherever you, why would you go to Russia where there's no black people?
Oh, I just think they get paid buku dollars by Putin, who they can kidnap.
Right, but they didn't just say that. She doesn't think America's great. Yeah. She doesn't think America's great. She just knows that all the communist states won't fuck with her anymore. It's the only place she can go back to. She can't go to China's not going to fuck with her now.
Yeah,
because she complains too much.
All the girls do this though. They play in the U.S. during the regular season, then they go to either Russia or China during the off season. Even Taurasi did it for a while. It's the way to make money. I'm not super pro Griner. I just think it's funny. Like, everybody's mad because she came back and was like, hey, this is good. Like, I think that's a perfect example of lesson learned. She should run for president.
By the way, Bobby, if you want to know who Ernie Banks is, I think we figured it out with the detective work. And it's not real detective work. He literally just told us. He's like, by the way, I hear Terry Nee is an older, smarter, attractive, distinguished man.
I had my suspicions all along.
Yeah, me too. But you know what? I should have known because PA always represents PA. Connecticut always doesn't represent Connecticut. But you guys support each other. You know what I mean? So.
Oh, 100%. And we support Britney Griner. Not all of PA, just Bobby. Britney comes on my face.
All right. So, who's the piece of shit in this story, Bobby? Is it Britney Griner? For now, remember, we're not talking about the being arrested. We're talking about in this is it Britney Griner for writing a book and going on ABC and doing an hour-long interview and already having, all jokes aside, a super compelling story. I mean, it is a thing of nightmares. So someone in your life, they made the movie Taken. I was like, someone travels somewhere and then you can't go get them because there's rules and laws and things where you can't just save them. You know what I mean? And how do you
Yeah.
get them back? And this person feeling trapped and alone, what do you do? It's already compelling. The fact that you think I need to fucking also mention in interviews that I was gonna kill myself, that's something I would read in the book. But I think if you have to tell me that, by the way, everything we already said is crazy enough in that, but also I also thought about killing myself. That tells me the book's no good. Because that should be something I just kind of read and learn in it. Like when you read a story about a woman who was like going through all kinds of crazy shit in her autobiography, like a Judy Garland one. Like I just learned recently about when they were feeding her like all these pills and calling her a fat pig with fucking pigtail. I didn't know that how much they were like trashing her on Wizard of Oz, and they made her lose weight because they thought she was too fat to sing the songs and all. That's in her books and things. And that's been shared later, but no one ever had to go out there and lead with that. All you had to say was like, did you ever hear about how terrible Judy Garland was treated? This woman we think of as a superstar was awful. And then you'd read the book and go, holy shit, this happened. And you're like, that's a nugget I get in the book. You know, this should just be a nugget you get. To have to say this tells me there's nothing else good in the fucking book because you don't give a fuck who she is. Because if the book is mostly about her playing in the WNBA and being the best and being in a slam dunk contest, I already know all that and I don't give a fuck. And it's like, so what is in this? So is she the piece of shit for that? Is it whoever her publicist is? That's the one who probably said, hey, you might want to talk about when you were going to kill yourself. She's like, well, I really wasn't going to do that. I mean, I know I kind of said I had the thought, but I wouldn't have done that. Like, yeah, don't say that second part. You want to read the fucking book? We really have nothing for you. You're not as fun. No, if you were fucking compelling or you had fucking good thoughts in your head, you'd be on ESPN right now with all the other big girls you used to play talking. But no one really wants your stupid mouth. So let's just give them whatever the fuck we want and let's just move on from this fucking thing and get our money and get the fuck out of here. We got to pay for your lawyers because that's going to, and also we got to pay the US off for the extraction fee because I'm sure they're still charging a hefty penny for that fucking thing. Is it the US for getting her? You know what? She's still, like you said, she's all supposedly Miss USA now, but she wasn't for a long time. They should have been like, stay there. Because if you come back, you're just going to make money off it. Where's our money off it? Why are you get to do a publicity tour being a piece of shit? It's kind of like that lady, that Rose, whatever her name is, whose mother was awful to her and she had her killed. Not Rose McGowan. No, the fucking... It wasn't Rose McGowan. Rose McGowan, all she did was replace Shannon Doherty and everything Shannon Doherty was in. Because she was also pasty and white.
Oh, Rosebud Baker.
Not Rosebud Baker. Fuck you. And not Pete Rose. Don't do it. The fucking, you know what I'm talking about. The bitch whose mom was like, told her she was dying and shit.
Yeah. Gypsy Rose.
Yes, thank you. My girlfriend's helping me, but I like just look at her and say, no, Bobby's doing this to torment me. Yes, I know. But Bobby's only doing that to torment me and make it fun for people. But I do appreciate it. She's like, Gypsy Rose, like, Pat, don't blow your head. I can see your face getting red. You're gonna have
You can see that vein in your forehead, Pat. Calm down. Breathe.
I don't need to call the EMTs over here because you're like, Gypsy Rose, just fucking Rose Nyland from fucking Golden Girls. Like, I like where roses be fucking dude. Just fuck you. So, is it you for fucking doing that to me? Who's a piece of shit?
For me, the piece of shit's Britney Griner twice. One, if you felt that strongly about it, like that you had to write a book, you should have gotten out of prison. Like, there should have been a story about you trying to escape.
Like a Shawshank Redemption thing.
Yeah. Like you
digging a hole in a stupid spoon.
Yeah,
she does it with her vibrator.
The guards, or that'd be a big ass vibrator. Yeah. But like challenging the guards one-on-one basketball games or fights, even. Also, it's Britney Griner because you've had 2 years straight in prison. Your book should be about how to shut down Caitlin Clark. Like that's what you should have been studying this entire offseason. You shouldn't have been wasting time on your Rush is sad. People, the news cycle's moved on. If you want to get in the news, beat Caitlin Clark bad, talk some shit before the game, and you'll be just as famous as you used to be.
Yeah. I think they should have even taken the direction of the movie I mentioned at the beginning, King Kong, and given her in the book a robot arm, and then she could fight her way out of there.
That's what I'm talking about, baby. She's going to the gulag, she's going to win her way out. Push that circle.
When people write books like that, I think they should take a hint from Norm Macdonald's autobiography and just make all of it up. Like that'd be great. And you put a couple truths in there, but you make because at the end of the day, it's just some bitch who like made a bad move, went for business to fly to Russia, got detained because she had drugs. If she was a WNBA player, we wouldn't even hear about it. Like it was just somebody who brought drugs over. I don't care if it's a vape. It doesn't matter if it's decriminalized other places. You're not supposed to bring drugs on an airplane anywhere. Like that's just kind of the rules.
I don't think she did that. A lot of people
fuck you. She's not innocent. She's a big stupid bitch. Like she's not
right
innocent
as
in
the
any way.
Russia-Ukraine war is popping off, and the United States goes, "Hey, if you're an American, come home." The biggest celebrity left they could grab was her, but it's just a coincidence she had a vape pen. Come on.
Yeah, but you know who gets to fly around? Yakov Smirnoff. He's fine. So what the fuck? Like he's way more important and popular than her. Yakov Smirnoff.
Yeah, because he's a counterintelligence. He's a spy for the Ruskies.
He might also be dead. I don't know.
No, he's the one I was thinking of earlier that owns the dinner place in fucking Oklahoma or something.
Is Yakov Smirnoff the Russians' version of Gerard Depardieu?
1000%, because I literally got them confused earlier. When you said Gerard Depardieu, I was thinking of Yakov Smirnoff.
And then who is Australia's Gerard Depardieu? It's not Jim Jeffries or any comedians. It's either one or two choices. It's either Paul Hogan or Yahoo Serious. Which one would it be?
I was going to say Paul Hogan the minute you posed the question, so I got to feel like it's got to be him.
Yeah, I think
that's
he's done
not a knife.
Right. Like, I know that Yahoo Serious was just famous for looking like Einstein, kind of, but with red hair. They even called him, like, whatever, young Einstein, whatever, that dumb movie. But yeah, Paul Hogan, he's more quotable than all of them.
Oh, yeah, he might have been too much of a star to be comparable.
Yeah,
you got that. Then you got everything he did with his brother over in the WWE.
Yeah, her book should be called. Ernie Banks says her book should be called "Don't Be a Dick in Other Countries." Yeah, that would be a life lesson. What not to do when going to Russia by Britney Griner, and then you tell the whole story. But you also give like, hey, but by the first week, if you do go, here's a good cafe to visit. You know where you shouldn't visit? The Gulag. The Gulag's not a fun time. So that you can make it like a guide thing, and then that'd be fun.
I can't get over the fact you don't think fucking Putin slipped a cart into her bag.
No, I don't think Putin gives a fuck about her at all.
Not actual flour. Not actual flour. A cart. They wanted to trade for the Merchant of Death. That's all. They wanted a negotiating chip, and unfortunately,
but why would they think she was the trade? I know it worked out, but why would they think that we would? I still can't believe we trade for the Merchant of Death, Britney Griner.
Well, because the
Merchant of Death, in like a good power forward, in the Merchant of Death. She's not the merchant of power forwards.
The merchant.
He's the merchant. Okay, but he's a salesman of death. Who sells death? He's the merchant.
Somebody who can't dunk, apparently. But
he's dunked on many people. It's like just not that way.
Missiles. But my point is, like, I think they 100% got her. I stand by Britney. I think they planted that shit in her bag, and they were like, let's move her. Because you got to remember, Pat, the Russians, right? They're fascinated by quirky things. Like, what's their favorite activity of entertainment? The bears dancing on those little balls, right?
They love that. They love the bears dancing. They're wearing a little hat, and they fucking do the moves. Sometimes they drive a car. They love bears doing fun shit. Russians, that's their favorite.
That's their favorite. And then, you know, it's just as quirky. A woman dunking a basketball. They're like, this isn't supposed to happen either. Like, to her, she's the reverse Depardieu. She's the biggest thing ever in Russia and isn't well known at all in the United States.
Is she like Hasselhoff?
Yes. She's the Russian Hasselhoff or the American Hasselhoff.
Because we know who Hasselhoff is here. And if you don't, you have to say one thing. You'd be like, oh, Knight Rider or Baywatch. People go, oh, okay, I remember that guy. But in Germany, they're like, fuck yeah, Hasselhoff. He's the greatest singer of all time and actor. Over there in Russia, they're like, Griner, yeah, basketball player, superstar. Over here, like that WNBA lady who got arrested in Russia, like, oh yeah, I know her work. Like it takes at least 2 degrees separation to get to it. By the way, Terry Nee said that Yakov Smirnoff is in Branson. That's where he is. So I like that we're getting Yes.
He's got a dinner theater.
Yeah, he was helping you with your dinner theater in
Yeah,
the place.
yeah.
So.
We should work there sometime.
Well, we appreciate Ernie Banks / Terry Nee / Ace Reporter for helping us out today. Bobby, you got anything you want to promote and push? By the way, join us tomorrow morning, Friday, 8 a.m. for our next episode. That'll be with our guest, Andrew Pollack, comedian, a winner of some contest that no one knows about that bothered him. So we'll talk about that and other fun stories as well. By the way, subscribe, like, all those fun things. Thank you for anyone that's watching this later on. This is your Patreon exclusive stuff. So you got exclusive Gerard Depardieu footage. You're welcome.
Yeah, we heavy France episode on the page, but you never know what you're gonna get on Patreon. The only thing other than what I would like to, what you just said, get in here tomorrow at 8 a.m. Last night we did some fun stuff. Had some people hanging out. Check it out over on my YouTube eventually. It's in the editing process now. And I'll be at Rick Bronson's House of Comedy, not this weekend, the following. And don't be. No, Pat, what do you got?
Oh, no, that's fine. You can go to my fucking show on Friday. I got fucking no tickets sold. Go to my fucking show around this, and you're in the Connecticut area. It's the worst we've ever sold. It usually picks up at the end, but goddamn it, it's fucking stressful right now. Usually we like almost sell these things out. In the last week, it really sells, but yeah, we're like low, and it's a good show. It's really funny comic. Joe Garrick's headlining. He runs he runs like a comedy club, like Fairfield Comedy Club, but he also performs in New York. He's a great, funny guy. And Brooke Llewellyn-Smith's on the show, and myself and this young kid, 15-year-old Elliot Longerin. It's at Twisted Vine in Derby. We always have a great time there. And I guess people are just like, we're gonna be too busy pre-gaming for the Kentucky Derby the next day, so we don't want to go to actual Derby before the Kentucky Derby. But you can do both derbies. You can derby it up your whole weekend. You go to the shitty Derby in fucking Friday, and then you watch the Kentucky Derby, the good Derby, on a Saturday. You know what I mean? Then you wear a Derby on Sunday, and you're fucking done. So just fucking do all that. Go there, Twisted Vine. You go to Eventbrite, put in Twisted Vine, Pat Oates, and you'll find the fucking show. There tonight, Thursday night, I will be at Comics, William Son, rolling up with Dan Brown and my boy Dion. Dion won't be performing, but we'll all be rolling up there. And there'll be a comedy contest thing, so come see us at 10 o'clock there. This weekend, I am at the fucking Daffodil Festival in goddamn Meriden, Connecticut. I'll be announcing bands and like calling people over on the microphone saying, come out here without your teeth and come get a koozie so you can come here or whatever. And come see me at the Daffodil Festival. Yeah, my life's doing good. Bobby.
You love that Daffodil Festival.
I don't. I keep talking about it. They love me on it, but it's like it's a festival no one knows about. But you know what? They've got fried dough and stuff, so that'll be nice.
Ooh. I think you might be having issues Friday because Stiff Little Fingers are playing in New York, which is where you can catch me this Friday.
Stiff Little Fingers?
Yeah, they're like the Irish Sex Pistols.
The Irish Sex Pistols? I thought I was the Irish Sex Pistols.
And don't be the Irish Sex Pistols.
Pistols, you fucking. Thank you, Terry D.